Hi YouTube, I'm Draconis, and welcome to my Minecraft world. I've been playing... Ooh, better sleep. I've been playing quite a while in this world, but decided I wanted to document some of it in more ways than just, you know, a save file. So thought I'd give you a little tour of my starter village. Come on, nighttime. Yeah, so I've kind of outgrown my starter village. I'm ready to move on to a new area. But yeah, I'd like to show you how I've sort of started out stuff in this world. So as I said, I've played here for a while already. I've already been to the Nether. I've already fought the dragon. Done some end busting, a little bit of end busting. Haven't actually found Deep Dark yet. I made this world quite a while ago, and there wasn't Deep Dark yet when I started. But yeah, we're in my village now. So let's have a look around. It's a little dock, a little tavern, a little boat, which I found on Google Images somewhere. Little houseboat thing. Cool design. I think I've changed the sails colour a bit. So yeah, I've got this little dock here for meant to be sort of like a shipping area. I've got all these chests and things around. I'm using Vanilla Tweaks stuff, so I've got like mini blocks and a few other things I'll try and point out as they show up. So yeah, this is the dockside tavern sort of thing for people to stop at if they were to visit. There's a little check-in desk if you wanted to come in and book a room upstairs. A little lounge area next to the fireplace. And then over here we've got a little bar area. So have a look upstairs. So just a few tiny little rooms upstairs. Nothing special. Little wardrobes. And then this sort of landing area where a little bit of decoration. I quite like this stripe of colour from the chimney. Okay, so back outside. Now, one of the things I tried to think about when building this village is line of sight and views. So this is a nice view here out over the water, especially at night, with shaders on and stuff. The way all this is lit up, kind of a nice vibe. Yeah, so heading up into the rest of the village, I tried to make the walking around on the paths kind of feel like you're walking through a little cozy village in the countryside, even though maybe I haven't succeeded particularly well because there's a lot of open space, but particularly over here I wanted you to be able to still look out on this big cliff face cove thing. But I kind of like the idea of trees kind of overhanging over the path a little bit. And everything kind of feeling lived in and overgrown slightly, but trimmed back. So I've tried to put bushes and walls everywhere. But some of it's still a little bit mossy, so it's it's been here a while. Yeah, so moving further into the village. This is my starter house, which we'll look at a bit more closely in a moment. But we'll start here with the little honey farm. Got little stuff like a wheelbarrow to transport stuff elsewhere. Got a barrel of honey, which is kind of someone hasn't turned their tap off and it's left a puddle. Yeah, this is a very, very small, compact little bee farm. You just go back here, there's excess. Let's see how we're doing on... yeah, I never had many bottles in here. I just had enough to sort of get by, and then 3 bottles of honey. Yeah, very compact. Just a small little building. Something I should probably mention is the way I like to build. I mean, I'm not a particularly good builder, but I kind of like stuff to still be the scale of the player. So a lot of like really great builds with a lot of detail in them and stuff, they're like really tall, and it kind of dwarfs the player. Kind of like removes a bit of the connection in a way to the player, it feels like. So I kind of like stuff to like relate to the size of the player. Yeah, so that's my little mini honey farm. And for, you know, just 4 hives, all this honey kind of puts into perspective how long I've played. In fact, I have MiniHerd installed, and we're on day 1728. So I have played quite a bit. Right, so another thing I try to do, I am in this like savanna biome. So I've tried closer to the village to lean more heavily on oak trees. And again, with the kind of the scale of the player sort of thing, I wanted it to seem like this is an old established little village sort of thing. So in the village, there are fewer of these like normal sized trees, and I've tried to force grow the big ones. Kind of like the people that lived here, they've used all the smaller trees for wood supplies and building and stuff, but the bigger trees, they're kind of older. They've is another thing, like with the mossy stuff in the walls, to kind of give you an idea that this is an old area and there's like history here. Just gonna sleep again real quick. Okay, so let's push forward a bit further. So another thing to kind of add age to the area is the walls. I've tried to make them sort of crumbly and again like mossy and overgrown with a bit of vegetation and so on. So here's one of the views that I tried to think about. You know, coming out of my house and going further into the village. I like the idea of this sort of like view kind of opens up as you walk down the path. So, you know, coming out here, everything's kind of blocked by trees. And then as you walk past them, the sky kind of opens up. And ignore my gross AFK tower, that will be coming down shortly. But yeah, there's like the view above you opens up, but there's more detail as you walk forward on the ground. So there's like the wall with the bushes and the big tree and stuff, and then there's like a lamppost and rocks and bushes and things, and then there's a path up to this house, and then there's a fallen log, and then again when you get here, everything kind of opens up again. Yeah, let's do the starter house. So there is like a little station outside for tying up a horse, but my horse is elsewhere. I'll get to those. Let's go inside. So this is the kitchen, just a bit of food stored. I've been storing a bunch of crops for villager trading when I get around to that. Yeah. little fridge type deal here. And then this is the door to the garden, which I'll get back to. Here's a little living room area with a dog on the sofa. Another dog. Little sort of bookcase deal. And then this was never really meant to be a bedroom, but I just ended up spending so much time in here because it's like crafting and everything. I just leave my bed here. Bunch more storage. Little potion making area. Here's some old armor that I stopped using, but it's like my backup set. And let's go upstairs before I show you the garden. Bit of wall decoration. Some sort of like roof beam action. Enchanting area. Oop. And then sort of my bulk storage for the most part. There's some stuff missing which I kind of wanted a decentralized storage for a lot of this stuff. So there's the little bee farm. I do have honey in this house, but like the majority of it's over there. I've got other buildings for like all my nether stuff and so on. Here's some stuff I'm prepping for future builds. I'll get to that soon. And there's something else I wanted as part of the design for this house is I do have elytra already. So I wanted like a landing platform. So I didn't have to like, if I was flying back at night and I needed to sleep quickly or something, there was like a quick, easy way to get into the house without having to land safely. And, you know, maybe there's something walking like a creeper outside the front door or something. I didn't want to risk going in the slow way. There was a quick way in from flying to just get in the house safely. Hello, cat. So one of the things I like about this, my living room, is that I've got the dog like halfway up a step. So from this angle, it looks like he's got his head resting on the back of the sofa. I thought that was cute. Okay, so the back garden. Yeah, so being in the savannah, all the grass is kind of muted, so I tried to kind of moss it up a bit to try and add a bit more colour and like vibrancy. I've got this little like flower shelf thing here with a little overhang made of campfires. Let's have a look what else we've got. A few more flower beds. Little water feature. Oh, here's something I saw online, so I can't remember I've seen this, but a little archway. There's a little piece of string here holding this up. I thought that looked pretty cool. I've got a netherwort little growth patch thing here. Some like small little vegetable garden. A little bit of like decoration shelf thing. And then a little rope swing, which hangs off the tree, this big tree. I tried to make everything kind of look a bit lush in the like the tended to garden versus the rest of the village where everything's everything's just kind of like generic bushes and grass overgrowth. In here, everything's meant to be sort of like watered and tended to, so that's why I wanted stuff to be a bit more like mossy and vibrant. Yeah, so that's the garden. That's the starter house. I've started to kind of accumulate too much stuff, and I felt like I just kind of got bored with this build style. But everything's kind of, as you can see, kind of the same build palette as my starter house. I wanted to kind of change things up a bit. And I wanted to kind of build bigger as well. Not bigger as in like change the scale like I was talking about before, but you know, like bigger buildings, bigger farms and things, like a bigger bee farm than this one, and like a bigger area. So this, I keep calling this a village. I wanted to build like a bigger town, a sort of maybe like a small baby city kind of sized thing. And I've been planning that for a while. So I actually have way more stuff than I have in my start house, all just sitting in chests ready to build this, like, new buildings in this new town that I've been designing in creative. So here's my little kind of stoneworking building. This is where I keep all my nether stuff. So again, tiny little house, but I've tried to cram a bunch of stuff in. Oh, I guess I've got my end stuff in here as well. Yeah, a little like marble pile, little like work area. Does this trick work for anyone? Like you do the item frame and then put a pressure plate on to kind of hide the item frame, so it looks like I don't know. I usually see this as like a chopping board or something, but I've done it with a pickaxe here. But the item frame kind of just like glitches through all the time. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever seen this work for me. Maybe I have like a graphical setting not switched on or something. Yeah, just so yeah, just the little yard, little work area. This leads back around to the rest of the village. But let's go up here briefly. Here's like a small scale animal farm. Got my donkey tied up outside. Here's a path that just leads up the mountain. Oh, time to sleep again. So I've just got some stuff for breeding the animals if I need to. You'll see I'm using potatoes as food. That's just because I've got so many potatoes. I just didn't really need to start farming cows or anything for food. I just needed to get through the potatoes. I was also using them for XP, just, you know, cooking. I could just put potatoes on to cook and then forget about them and come back and get XP. Yeah, so really small, just kind of not super detailed little farm area. Tried to make the pig pen all like muddy. Put a little trough in for drinking from. Same deal in the chicken pen. There's a little watering hole sort of thing, and then kind of splash some diorite in there for kind of bird poop. Again with the cows. You okay? And again, got another little like trough for drinking from and some hay for food. And then I don't have a wool farm in the village, but I'm planning to build one in my town. But yeah, so there's just a bunch of sheep here of all the different wool colours. And a little water pump kind of thing. So that's the farmhouse. Let's go over the bridge a little bit. Kind of get a different view. So, I do have a skeleton and zombie spawner that I found right next to each other, which kind of feed into the same XP grinder. They're both down this tunnel, which I kind of never really use, so that's why it's not really decorated, but I still wanted this kind of link to be part of the village somehow. So I built this sort of path that goes into the village. And I tried to add some of these sort of path elements to kind of tie it together. So as we walk further towards the center of the village, I've got another little just residence over here. Oh, got a zombie somewhere. Interesting. Guess he's inside, in the ceiling somewhere. Well, let's deal with him real quick. Oh, that is a mob farm. Oh dear. Did not know that was there. I guess, better light this up. Oops. That'll do. Yeah, as I was saying, just another little residence. Some views of the village from the windows. It's, yeah, just another small building for decoration, basically. So, the town square. I kind of wanted like a little market vibe in the center of the town, kind of a focal point. If we, I guess we'll peel off to the right first, because this ties in with the area up here where towards the farm. This kind of little park area. Just kind of little cozy sort of seating, just hangout place. Have a little picnic maybe. Got a few more of these sort of crumbling old walls in here. And then up here, this leads back to the farm. But this way, I added a little flower farm. So I've got all the two tall flowers. This looks pretty cool from like when you're flying over the village. And then again with the decentralized storage, I've got all my sort of flowers and stuff in here. And for the two talls, they're in the ceiling. I need to remember that I've got these here. Yeah, just another little functional building. And then, I guess, actually, before we get back to the centre, I might as well follow this round. I needed something to kind of take up space. Will make more sense when I fly over. In fact, let's just do that. So, it's kind of just over this way. We've got all the farmland. But then on this side, we kind of just had way too much just grass and just open area. So I added in this extra wheat farm over here, which also serves as like a lot of the buildings in the town that I'm building next requires mud bricks. So yeah, I need all the wheat I can get basically. So let's go through this way around back into the village. This here is this kind of a town hall building. If we go inside, the idea with this was I wanted to kind of make these little plinths and things for like kind of milestones in the world. So, oh, also another thing, when I built this world, it was soon after copper kind of made it into the game. So a lot of my headcanon for this village is the people were good at working copper. So there's a lot of kind of the orange and the cyan stuff that I tried to kind of dot around. It's kind of like a theme for the village. Let's see if I actually have anything marked like milestone wise. some beams in the ceiling. And then this is the way out of the village over towards the town that I'm going to build. Yeah, got a little kind of ledge out here. Same over this way. Okay, this has got a cool kind of view of the village. And then again with the idea of like walking through, I like that some of the village is obscured. Kind of invites you to like walk in and explore. Just quickly sleep. So I think, is this the way I came in? No, here we go. So I think the dates are written in these books, so we'll see how long ago I started playing this world. So this is when I beat the Ender Dragon, May last year. So, didn't realise it'd been over a year I've been playing this game, playing this world. So yeah, things to mark the world, mark events in the world a bit. Yeah, so let's head back into the village. I keep saying that, don't I? I need to get rid of this ugly AFK platform. But the reason it's here is because this little building is a very, very small, very inefficient mob farm. Hopefully this isn't too dark on YouTube. But it's just your basic kind of water pushing stuff down a hole. No, it's not doing too bad actually. But the one thing I have built in the new town so far is actually a mob farm, and it's vastly superior to this one. Yeah, I just wanted something to kind of work passively in the background while I was working on the rest of the village. I kind of just have some passive gunpowder production so I can make rockets. But yeah, it's just a small little, another kind of small little residence kind of building. Yeah, just hiding a mob farm underneath. So, speaking of residences, I've got 3 more here to kind of like add to the kind of population of the village. Not everything, like some of the things are functional and extra storage, but these are just kind of for decoration purposes. Got a little bedroom. Got a little, I guess, I don't know what this would be. Little man cave, maybe. Tiny little garden. Little tower. This one kind of mirrors something I haven't got to yet, which is the windmill over there. But similar kind of aesthetic, I guess. And then, again, it's just for decorative purposes, really. I like this little kind of open plan bedroom kind of thing. Another little garden, some little trees. This one's got a little flower garden. This one's a bit more kitchen area, living room, little bedroom with a little study area. So, got a kind of pond area over here, and like similar to the back garden to my starter house, you know, we've got like extra moisture here because it's right next to a pond. So it's kind of tried to make it kind of over vegetated, if that's a word, and like added some moss around the edge of the pond to kind of make it look wetter over here. Yeah, I did a little bit of kind of terraforming around here to kind of neaten things up and whatnot. Another like decorated tree over here with some nice bushes and so on. And now we're getting back to the kind of market square. This is another little kind of passive farm. It's just a little cactus farm. It's only got four pieces in there. The little bubble elevator. But I didn't really have a use for cactus. I just kind of built it. I just needed some green dye, and I thought, why not just make a little farm? So I completely overestimated how productive this would be. But it's not too bad. I've never had to, like, AFK my cactus farm before. So let's just finish up down here before we head over to the windmill. So I've got these little market stalls. I guess I kind of always intended to theme them a little bit. But, you know, with like, this one sells something and this one sells something different. That sort of thing. Little bonus, extra storage, extra stock. Another little water feature in the middle. But yeah, I kind of never... I also thought of maybe bringing villagers over here. Maybe having the little stalls, but I didn't want to deal with like random golems spawning and having to maybe replace villagers because mob spawns that I didn't want to over light up the area or something. So yeah, and then kind of the focal point of the market square is the big tree here. I think I copied this from maybe a B-dubs video or something, but I just changed out the leaves for azalea and like the flowering azalea. Yeah, so I guess we head down this way. This is my baby super smelter, which is also kind of my ore storage. And also, we've got a crane here, which kind of leads down. I've got a bit more stone storage over here. But, yeah, there was this big hole here, just in the landscape. I thought, oh, let's put a crane here and make it look like this is our mine. So there is actually, if we go back down here, there is a way through the crane, just down into the mine. I did have to cover up some holes here, but yeah, this just, you know, goes down. There's a huge open cave system down there, where I've done all my mining basically. That's the crane. But then in here it's kind of my kind of metalworking area. There's some ore storage. Here's all my aged copper. Here's my unaged copper. This being like a theme of the village, and kind of like my like headcanon for the people that live here. They kind of like copper is kind of like their emblem. I haven't really used it that much in the village, because it's kind of like a, I guess, pseudo medieval kind of architecture. I felt like copper didn't really fit in too well, so it's only used sparingly here. But the sort of ideas I have for the town kind of utilizes it a lot more. So I have aged tons of copper, and just not used most of it yet. There's some iron, gold. Now, just to again put in perspective how long I've played, here's my excess copper ore. Some other stuff. My iron ore. Like, I haven't made I don't know how everyone else feels about this, but I feel like with how common iron ore is in like mountains and stuff now, and being able to like fortune iron ore, I feel like there's not really a need for iron farms as such. Yeah, I don't know. I take it back. I am feeling the kind of drain of my iron stock, even though I've still got tons of it left. Now that I'm like building bigger farms and using more redstone components and so on. These are just a drop down and an elevator up from kind of a strip mine area down in this mining hole. Let's go inside and sleep quickly. Yeah, so that's downstairs. If we just head upstairs quickly, this is where my coal storage, and then my little baby super smelter. Small tip for anyone trying to squeeze stuff into a smaller building than is necessary, I guess, is don't build your super smelter on an angle like this. It's raining, lovely. The problem I've had with it is that because it's on an angle like this, when the ore minecart passes around this corner and the coal minecart also passes the corner, this one will deposit, because they like, I guess the hitbox overlaps on the corner. It will deposit ores into the coal minecart, and then I end up with random ores not getting smelted and clogging up the coal supply. But I guess now I know. Right. Yeah, that's the baby smelter. And I tried to hide. Here's a chest for coal and the chest up there to drop your ores in. But yeah, this is one of my favourite buildings, I think, in the village. So I guess let's take the long way, if this video wasn't long enough already. Take the long way to the windmill. So this is kind of like just a hill in the middle of the village, kind of encircling this depression in the landscape over here. And because it's kind of higher up and it kind of translates into the grassier biome. Hence the rain here, no rain. Yeah, I kind of grassed it up a bit, and this is just like a little pasture kind of area for the horses. This is more farmland over here, but for crops this time. So here's all my potatoes. My aforementioned overstocking of oversupply of potatoes. Yeah, it's not super secure, but it is lit up enough that I guess mobs don't really get in here. I mean, the bigger culprit for trampling crops is the wandering traders for me. Over here we've got a little kind of camping area, some meat cooking, and then we've got a little fishing hut. I did mean to make this like, I guess like a fishing area, but I guess too many potatoes. I never felt the need to fish other than to tame a few cats. Another little dock. If we go around this way, just like extra storage next to the little fishing building, and kind of a little longboat kind of canoe type thing. Yeah, there's that. Back to the farm area. Oh, I guess actually on the way. So yeah, this is the nether portal. It's encased in copper because it's, again, it's like the kind of my kind of lore for the village is that copper's kind of their thing. And then because it's kind of the way I said earlier, like didn't really fit in with like onto the buildings and stuff, but the colors show up in places. So my kind of like lore that I've made up for the village is that the people that lived here, they learnt like smelting and like how to work the copper from something that came out of the nether. So that's why it's kind of encases the nether portal. And then this was like an old, I guess, temple or something. Maybe they worshipped the thing that taught them how to work metal. But over time, it's just become overgrown, and as the people's technology progressed, I guess, and they moved on to found the town, maybe they let the temple just kind of fall apart and get overgrown a bit. Yeah, I imagine there was maybe like a stained glass window here or something at one point, but it's all fallen apart. But then this, which I glossed over, this is my kind of like a research station. People have come close to the portal to kind of study stuff that comes out of the nether. Yeah, just no, I'm not using it for storage or anything. This is just kind of another little decoration piece. God, I wish it wasn't raining. Is it dark enough to sleep? It is. So, okay, now back to the farmland. Here's some carrots. I've sculpted this a bit. This is the kind of hill that I was on earlier. And then further on, we've got a path which leads back up to the horses. I tried to make this a bit more lush because this is kind of, you know, we're out of the savannah now, and this is where all the crops are growing. So, and it's closer to the water, so there's a bit more sort of greener vegetation and a bit more like flowering azalea bushes and stuff. So yeah, this is just back up the hill, back to the horses. Let's go over this way. Here's another view down into the mines. Here's the windmill. You may notice if the, depending where I am in the little time lapse, I felt like I needed to change the shape of the actual, like, the blades of the windmill. They looked a bit problematic, I guess, when I first built it. The building, actually, I should mention, is kind of adapted from a FWIP building that he made in, I think it was Empires Season 1. I think it was FWIP. It might have been Mythical Sausage, actually. I don't know, it was one of those two. But I kind of copied part of this sort of architecture from them. But I switched up the build palette, and I added this little like gradient on the outside. So this is actually a very compact melon and pumpkin farm. Incredibly compact. So it's only 3 by 3, the growing areas. One for melons, one for pumpkins. And yeah, so there's pumpkins, melons. That has kind of been the main source of emeralds for me, because I'll just collect stuff from here. And there's a village nearby in that direction where there's like 2 villagers who I trade with from time to time. I also added in here a little sort of bone meal generator for when I harvest all the crops. Oop, just got something. When I harvest all my crops and, you know, excess seeds and stuff, just chuck them in there. Here's the path back into the kind of market square area, but there's a little bit more over this way. So more farmland. This is just if I find myself too lazy to walk around the building, I do have an extra composter here. But yeah, there's a little bit more farmland over here. I say a little bit more, it's probably the bulk of it actually. So I've got beetroot, got all these big like wheat fields. And here is another example of me trying to make the kind of the walk around the paths kind of more like immersive, I guess. So as we walk around the farmland, here's a path that leads back over to the town hall, and that little baby mob farm is behind this mound here. But if we go around this way, yeah, we're further away from the savannah now. We're closer to, there's a little like stream that comes down over here, so this is all way more overgrown. I tried to kind of like busy up this area, so it just looks green when you look over this way. It's like more of like a backdrop to the, if you're standing up there looking out over the farmland. But then as we come over here, there is a little bridge over this little stream, which itself I tried to, add a bit more vegetation to it. I would have liked to put more of these in there, but they're hard to come by, so or at least they were when I was doing this. Yeah, this stream actually is man-made. There's not even anything else built up here, but the stream like goes all the way over here and like winds around, and just for my my satisfaction, I know that there's a stream and it's not just a random water source up here like leading into this stream and over this little waterfall. Actually, let's go this way. So another view, you've got the the village goes like this, like slopes down, and you see all the farmland, and you see stuff. But so over here is the little water wheel like building. Here's a view of the little waterfall. Yeah, so I guess this was meant to look like it's used for something, but it's still decoration. This was again another small farm just packed into a building. This is actually built into the landscape behind the building, and this is woefully inefficient. Yeah. One of the things since building this that I plan to build in the town is like a more effective bamboo farm with 1.20 coming out at some point with all those new bamboo blocks. I need to have like a stockpile of bamboo because I think I'll want to build all of that stuff at some point. But yeah, this was not efficient at all, but it produced enough sugarcane that I could make my rocket supply with it. And again, I drastically overestimated how much storage I would need. But yeah, just storage area, and then it actually harvested. I don't think I've ever actually witnessed this working before. But yeah, I couldn't think what to do with this tower, so it's just empty up here. But it does have a nice view out over the village. Yeah, so that's pretty much the village. Let's do another flyover, I guess. Seeing as we're here, here's the kind of man-made river that I made. It splits off here. I think there was water pouring out of here at some point already, but I just added this I cut it into the ground a bit so that it would flow all the way down to the water. And then to kind of justify taking the stream over this way, I built this like fork in the road sort of thing. And yeah, so now we've got these kind of two waterfalls. One over here and one over there, so I sleep precariously on this ledge. Yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. That's the village. I think maybe it's time to take down this AFK platform. So I guess this is another view, I guess, of the village. Oh, and speaking of villages, there's the village over there, where I go to trade sometimes. Oh no, this is also the path out of the village, which we kind of saw earlier. But it goes all the way over here. I guess the town's going to be way over that way somewhere. But this bit here, it's kind of like a logging station, like a wood cutting area. I've already started prepping the landscape for it, but yeah, that's kind of like a future build. That's satisfying. So yeah, I guess that's my starter village. I know maybe it's weird starting an episode 1 of something with so much stuff built up already, but this is kind of my like starter area. And we're ooh, I missed some scaffolding. Yeah, I'm kind of like having like a new beginning on this world, so like moving on to a new area and starting up again. Well, I guess this is still my my base of operations, my home, but yeah, it's basically just my storage now. Yeah, so I guess that's it for the first video. Yeah, I've never really done anything like this before, so apologies if it's a bit awkward. But yeah, hopefully I'll do more, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. So thanks guys, and maybe see you next time.